How did you guys know they were going to draft Sam Williams, the D end?
Man, sometimes they just do your work for you. And to be fair to us, I mean, we're not always right. Tyler Smith kind of snuck up on us. They did a good job of keeping that a little more under wraps. But sometimes you can just read the tea leaves and figure it out. I mean, this team needed an edge rusher. You're looking down the list. You're like, okay, they're probably not going to have a shot at most of the big guys in the first round. So then you're looking at athletic guys that might be around in the second round for one reason or another. I think obviously you have the off-field incident where Sam Williams was suspended, but I also think some people ask questions about his athleticism that you wouldn't ask of like a surefire first-round guy. And then you just start paying attention, and you're like, okay, well, the entire organization is in Oxford for the guy's pro day. And then you hear him talk at his press conference that he's already – I mean, this was in early March, mid-March, where he's like, yeah, I mean, I've already been talking to Jerry Jones about how they want me to team up with Micah and this, that, and the other. And you're just like, okay, like, where there's smoke, there's fire. And so you just kind of start to connect those dots. And I didn't know for sure, but if you'd made me write down 2 or 3 names that I thought they would draft heading into the weekend, Sam Williams definitely would have been one of them.
What type of player is he?
I mean, the guy set the sack record at Ole Miss, which when you think about the competition you're playing in the SEC, I think that speaks for itself. He is, I mean, like I said, I don't know if he's got the freakish athleticism that makes you a top 5 pick, but he is an incredibly athletic dude. I really like his motor. And again, what I think I like the most about it is he was incredibly productive. And I know Ole Miss has talent, but you're not talking about in Alabama where there's another first-round pick playing next to you or on the other side of your line. I mean, if you're a stud at Ole Miss, you're probably going to be the focal point of your opponent's game plan. And so for him to still be as productive as it was, I think that speaks volumes.
Tell us what type of receiver Jalen Tolbert is. Everyone seems to like this kid in terms of the versatility, going over the middle. What did you see in Tolbert?
I think, and we had a chance to talk to the new receivers coach, Robert Prince, about this on Saturday. He came into the studio and shot the breeze with us about it. I just think his skill set is very ready-made. I mean, basically, he's a technician. He runs good routes. He's got an extensive route tree. He's got good footwork. I think he knows how to maximize his skill set toward getting open. I think that's the type of receiver that Robert Prince likes, and I think that's the type of receiver that Dak Prescott wants as well. I thought my jaw kind of dropped when he told us that he'd already talked to Dak for 20 or 30 minutes before the draft. I was like, look, I know it's normal for a quarterback to call a draft pick after his name gets called, but like to be doing homework on a guy before you even know if he's going to be on your team, that's pretty wild. But yeah, I think he's polished. He's polished, and he's very athletic. Like he can be a deep ball guy, but I think they use him on a variety of routes. I just think, like I just said, maybe Sam Williams and Tyler Smith have some developing to do, and obviously any rookie does. But I think Jalen Tolbert's a little bit more of a ready-made player than some of these guys, and that's why. I mean, I know for a fact they were considering taking him at 56, and it obviously wound up working out that they didn't. But they thought highly enough of him that they would have done it at 56 if Sam Williams hadn't been there.
We've heard a lot about, extra edge and toughness after the San Francisco playoff loss, and Jerry and McCarthy were preaching it in the draft room. Does this collection of guys, Dave, have that extra edge in those categories? Or does every kid coming out say that when asked about their toughness?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Obviously, it's football, and to some degree, everybody's probably like that. But, I mean, we've said it over and over again during the weekend, is like the Cowboys look like they're on a mission to – I mean, they got bullied. They got bullied by San Francisco. They got bullied a few times in the second half of the season. I mean, Chris Jones bullied their entire team all on his own in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I just feel like – a lot of these picks were directed at fixing that. And not just mindset, but from a size standpoint. I mean, my God, Tyler Smith is 6'3", 6'4", 320-something pounds. Yeah, I mean, like you draft a big physical tight end from a place like Wisconsin. I think they're looking for guys that not just have an edge mentally, but also size-wise. I mean, I don't expect him to do a whole lot as a rookie, but the tackle they drafted out of North Dakota is 6'8". And then I highly recommend anybody, if you didn't hear it Saturday, please go to DallasCowboys.com or go find the log of the live stream and find our interview with John Ridgway, the Arkansas defensive tackle. Again, like another huge guy who, you know, I asked him, I was like, you know, what would a fan want to know about your game? And he was like, I'm going to get out there and try to break somebody's neck. And I was like, wow, damn, okay, you're not reserved. Good for you. So, yeah, I think they drafted a lot of big dudes who want to hit people, and I think the Cowboys thought they were lacking that.
Do you like that draft strategy where you're basically playing catch up and chasing a certain style as opposed to just building the best team possible?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful question, RJ. And I do wonder sometimes if their strategy is reactive, where it's like, oh man, we got bullied by some of these guys. We got to fix that. And it's like, well, I don't know. Couldn't we have drafted to set ourselves up for that not to happen earlier? Like, it seems like you could have. And that's why, and again, these teams don't show us their boards, and obviously the media doesn't know everything by a long stretch. But the reason people get so excited about things like Baltimore's draft is Baltimore just has this habit of, it seems like the name that they draft is the guy that everybody agrees is the best player sitting left.
Yeah.
And it's the whole debate of like, oh, best player available. And I think the Cowboys got some good players, but like I said, I think they tilted their board toward what they were looking for very specifically, whereas some teams are just like, we're going to get the collection of the 7 best guys that we can, and we'll figure the rest of it out later. I will say I think the Cowboys deserve the benefit of the doubt because I think drafting is the best thing that they've done for the last decade or so. I think it's the best thing about them as a football organization is the way that they draft. So I think it's fair to have some questions about the way they approached it, but I think it's dramatic the way some people are like, oh my God, this is the worst draft ever. First of all, nobody knows anything about any of these classes. And second of all, yeah, like I said, I think their track record speaks for itself.